Good morning, everybody. This is Martin John, and I am talking to you about Tao of the Day. I travel a little later today, and I'm going to be spending the next couple of weeks in Virginia. So we're going to be doing it. We're going to be doing this from Virginia. Virginia is for lovers. So if you love me, you will join me as I continue to explore the Tao and my translation of the Tao. I am working on an app of Tao of the Day so that you can have your own Tao of the Day on the weekends when I'm not here, and you can explore that. So hopefully that'll be available for you come January or so. It'll take all of the text that I've written and some of the conversations that I've had here on Wisdom of individuals who have picked a number, and we've read different translations as well as translations that I have written. So if you have a number between 1 and 81, I invite you to come up and we'll talk about that number of the Tao. You don't have to know anything about the Tao because the Tao is within you. The Tao is part of each and every one of us. And it is the empty space in every cell of every body and everything on this planet and in others as well. So Tao surrounds us. It's conspicuous, and it is also invisible. So you can see it this every time you stop and think, and it's beautiful. It's a wonderful experience to be able to know Tao. And if you have a number between 1 and 81, definitely step up, and I will read your Tao for the day, and we'll go through it and see how it relates to your life. I look at the Tao as being kind of like a tarot or a oracle deck. I'm going to be making an oracle deck of my translation of the Tao, and a large aspect of like why is because when you pick a number, somewhere in you, because the Tao has been around for so long, is connected to that, and there is a message behind it, and you say the number, and then you get guided to where you're going. Just a little bit of advice on how to move forward. Just a little encouragement or whatnot. And I picked number 48. Nope, we do have somebody coming up. Deb. Oh, Barsha. We're joining me for Tao of the Day. How you been? Hey.
Hi. Um, I always dream numbers. This one's probably a very popular one, but last night I dreamt 11.
11. Okay. Have you been? How you doing? Are you headed
I've been,
somewhere?
I'm headed. Yes, I'm in the car, and that's why I asked if you could hear me at all.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I'm going to a rehearsal for a show I wrote.
Oh, beautiful. Where's it going to be playing?
I don't know yet. It's being kind of commissioned by the Long Wharf Theater, which is a theater out of New Haven, but we're rehearsing in the city.
Oh, beautiful. Well, good luck with that. Number
Thanks.
11, number 11 is entitled Emptiness is Valuable.
Wow.
And I think this is going to be really good for you going into this rehearsal. So, spokes, tire, rim, and hub all make a wheel. Yet it is the space where the axle goes that makes it worthwhile.
Wow.
Clay is formed into a vessel. A vessel's function is to hold things, thus, the form includes emptiness. A house can be built, but if it were solid, it would be useless. It is easy to see structure, but structure is there to expose the value of emptiness.
Wow. Yeah, that's good.
As I think about a rehearsal, right? Rehearsal leads to a play. And, when you see a play, you can criticize the actors, the writing, the set design, the lighting, but the play is coming from this source of the writer.
Yeah.
And that is emptiness.
Yeah.
There's nothing there. And it was structured. It was written. It was translated into something so that it could be graspable. But
Right.
before it was written, it was emptiness within you.
I know. That is, it's so perfect for today because we're actually working on the dramaturgy of the piece, which is creating it we have the ideas on paper, but we have to live in emptiness and the unknown to get to the next place. That's why I was going, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. So this is, and like it's funny, it starts with spokes, tire, rim, and a hub all make a wheel, yet it's the space where the axle goes that makes it worthwhile. And we think the lighting, the design, the actors, the words, they all make a play. Yet it
Right,
is the space where it was all inspired that makes it possible to have that structure.
right. Yeah, that's really good, and it's a great frame of mind to actually go into this with today. You know.
Yeah. And like as this continues, like clay is formed into a vessel, but the vessel's function is to hold things. And if we look
Right,
at clay as the play, a play is formed like a play is formed to entertain and to
right,
hold the attention of people. But it has to its form, its output has to include that, right? It
right,
has to include space for people to enter,
right.
and that's emptiness. It is not like you are trying to fill it full of stuff. During the this stage that you need to give the audience space, because
Yeah,
if it was just a laugh factory, like one line after another line after another line after another line, like, and it was just this constant barrage, then all you're doing is keeping them occupied.
yeah.
But you're here to hold them, and you're here to
Right.
hold them as they are.
And the great analogy of the tire is that once those things are all put together, it moves. It
That's
just
right.
rolls.
Yeah. And it's not yours anymore, right? The tire is going to move.
Right.
And there are times where it's going to get out of control, and there are times where it's going to need to go where it needs to go.
Right. Yeah, that's good. Thank you. That is amazing.
Yeah, and the last line, it's easy to see structure, it's easy to see the play, it's easy to see the outcome, it's easy to see all of that stuff. But the structure is only there to expose the value of emptiness.
Yes. Ooh, that is good. The second time hearing it, I got it. The structure is only there to expose the emptiness, right?
The value of
The
emptiness.
value of the emptiness. The structure's there to expose the value of the emptiness. That's good. Very good.
Yeah. And that's what you're working with when you work with inspiration, when you work with anything. Like everything, every structure, because like just like, and we skipped over this line, but it's important to recognize that a house can be built, but if it were solid, it'd be useless. You live
Right?
in the emptiness of the house.
Yeah, the structure's only there to expose the value of the emptiness. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember as a kid, what's coming up for me is that my favorite book was The Little House. I don't know if you ever remembered that,
I
but
don't recall it.
oh my God, it's such a great story for kids. It's this little house that has feelings and stuff, and they come in, they bulldoze everything around it, and they make these high rises and everything, and the little house is just so upset, and then the little house gets moved to the country, and it's so happy again. I don't know
Oh,
why. Anyway, all right. Well, anyway, thank you for as I drive into Manhattan. I really needed to hear that.
Oh, well, good. I'm very glad, and good luck today on the work that you guys are going to be doing, and keep this with you, and maybe even bring it up to your group.
I was going to bring it up. That's true. I love it. Thank you, Martin John.
Absolutely. I think I have your number. I
Oh,
can text you the text if you'd like.
oh, that would be great. Can you? Thank you so much.
Yeah, if I can't, I will send it to you either here on Wisdom or in Instagram.
Instagram.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye.
Bye bye. Have a great day. Oh, that was wonderful. It's always wonderful to get together with Deborah, and she's going to work on, on an art, right? On an art form. And we were talking about the value of emptiness and like what is creativity if not emptiness? It's the quiet. It comes from the quiet, right? Spokes, tires, rim, and a hub all make a wheel, yet it is the space where the axle goes that makes it worthwhile, right? It's the space, it's the emptiness that makes it worthwhile, that makes it move. Clay is formed into a vessel, and the whole function of any vessel is that it needs to carry something. So emptiness is included in the design. And that's the same with painting. I remember as when I did a lot of painting, it was like, oh, you got to give places for people to rest. You got to give places in the painting for people to rest. You got to give space in the play for people to rest. You got to take a breath. You can't just barrage them with stuff, right? That's filling it all. And that's what this next line kind of expresses to a different degree. A house can be built, but if it were solid, it'd be useless. That play would be useless if it would just be filled with like, joke after joke after joke, or joke serious. Everything is just compact. You need space for the audience to be able to have an experience, to be able to experience those things. Now, the audience may not want to experience things because they may want to just be constantly barraged with things so they don't have to experience things. But when you don't experience things, when you don't have that space, well, then that's when you start to get lost, right? We talk about stillness in the verse, the value of stillness, or stillness and integration, which is verse 16. You know, and we can talk about that if somebody wants to come up and choose 16. But we talk about the idea of that without stillness and integration, constant movement is anxiety ridden. It causes anxiety, and it causes wild movements, it states in there, as that's how I described it. But wild movements are rash movements, rash, and you make rash decisions, you say things without thinking, you do all of these things. But this last line is really, the whole first part of this was there just to express like this is structure versus substance. It is easy to see structure. It's easy to see structure. It's around us all the time. But structure is only there to expose the value of emptiness. And that's an important thing to recognize. It is the emptiness that we're valuing. The structure is just there to expose it. So if anybody has a number between 1 and 81 you want to choose, I'd love to have you up and we can talk a little bit more about the Tao. Thank you, Deborah, for picking 11, and we'll go on if anybody has a number. Um, I love talking about the Tao, and like I said, I'm making an app. So if you are interested in having your own little Tao of the day in your pocket, then you'll be able to do that. Now, when I build this app, the whole point is that you're going to be able to pick one number every day, and it'll give you the text, and it'll give you some notes that I've written, and then it'll give you three different conversations, not only on the translation that you'll have, which will be my translation, but you'll also have other people's translations that I spoke with people here on Wisdom about, and then you can just get a gauge of the depth of each translation, or the gauge of the depth of the verse and what it means to you. So if you guys have a number between 1 and 81 you want to choose, definitely step up and talk to me. Otherwise, I'm going to take my leave. Thank you so much for joining me here on Tao of the Day. I'm your host, Martin John, and always up for connecting with folks. And if you benefit from the work I do, definitely consider giving me a tip over on Venmo at martinjohn_Garcia. And until next time, keep recovering yourself.